Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, everybody. Great to be here with you today. Super jazzed to recognize some familiar faces in the crowd. Thanks for being here. Today we're talking about leadership and connection, and really through the lens of media. A brief intro before I give some much-needed time to these esteemed panelists. Let's zoom out for a second, because understanding this part will be essential for this panel. Three types of media, right? Owned media, paid media, earned media. What we're talking today primarily revolves around earned media and paid media, since that's generally how media institutions work. So that understanding paid media, advertisement, sponsorships, incredibly valuable as you're putting together your integrated marketing program. Also owned media. That's your website, your social. You kind of own the way you position yourself, your narrative on those channels. And then there's earned media. That's where you get the attention of a journalist, a blogger, podcaster. They think you have an interesting story or perspective, and they include that in their coverage. And having an understanding of that will be helpful, because media is really about amplification. We think about using media for our brand, for our companies, but it's also more than that, because, of course, there's distribution, fragmenting, AI reshaping how content gets seen, and, of course, some people are starting to question the value of media in general. But as we know on this panel, the connections that media builds are unpredictable but very real, and the leadership that also helps create for executives is very tangible. So that said, that's what we're going to be chatting about today. Looking forward to it. Why don't we get started with introductions? Nico, you want to get us kicked off?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Ricardo. My name is Nico Rodriguez. I'm a grower by trade, legal scientist by training. I'm a managing editor of IgniteIt News, and I'm glad to be here to talk a bit more about our contribution. Thank you.
Love the grower-writer element. Nice.
I love that. Yes, I'm Rachelle Gordon. I'm the editor of GreenState, which is a cannabis news and lifestyle publication, and mostly consumer-facing. We do have B2B as well, and I've been at the helm for 3 years, but writing about weed for over a decade, and really excited to be among my esteemed panelists.
She's amazing on there, too. My name is Dustin Hoxworth. I'm the founder of Nugs magazine. We do storytelling, authentic journalism, and badass art and photography. That's what we focus on.
My name is Bill Evers. I am the co-founder of Pharms and Media. My brother and I started out as cultivators in this industry, and when legislation and regulation has done so many people, we had to pivot. That pivot was towards how do we stay on the shelf, or how do we stay in people's minds when we're not on the shelf, and that's what led to us having media. So I think our niche is being operators first and media second.
My name is Dr. Sara Brittany Somerset, and I started the first cannabis news desk with the United Nations about 2011. Prior to that, I started as a cub reporter for High Times, and I like to say my work's been published in everything from the New York Times to High Times. And I want to take this moment to say I'm not sitting on this stool because accessibility matters. Thank you.
Can we get through with this starting over again?
Yeah, that would be amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. So kind.
Appreciate all of you.
Outstanding. Thanks, everybody. A brief bit about me. My name is Ricardo, Baca. I'm moderating this panel from multiple perspectives. Currently, I run a PR and marketing firm called Grasslands. We've been working in the legal cannabis industry, hemp industry for more than 10 years now. But also, if we go back to the dawn of legal adult use weed, I was the cannabis editor at the Denver Post from 2013 through 2016, where I reported on the implementation of the world's first regulated market. A bit of a different perspective, coming at it very much from mainstream media, rooted in a community, rooted in Colorado, which, of course, the voters there were the first to legalize, and my colleagues and I ended up covering what happened afterward in, of course, Washington State, Canada, West Coast, East Coast. Lots of fun, but then I started Grasslands, and I've been thrilled to be on the agency side for the last 10 years. So, thanks for being here. We're going to start really by talking about media as a trust bridge, because one thing I share with Grasslands clients regularly It's that earned media is the most trusted and credible form of media there is. It's not me as a PR guy making that up. This is decades of polling by the leaders like Gallup and Pew. Through deep consumer research in this country, adults trust earned media more than anything else. They recognize that you can buy that advertisement, you can say whatever you want on social, on your website. It's different when you get Dustin's attention and suddenly you're being interviewed in the hot box and fat nugs. Clearly you have something special going on when somebody wants to tell your story, like Carlos in the audience has gotten some great media, really tremendous stuff telling his story. So that's important to understand. Of course, media builds trust in a way that nothing else does. So maybe Dustin, you can get us started here. Based on in real life IRL feedback from your sources and partners, how do write-ups, features, mentions in press actually benefit an executive or business?
This is easy, and you kind of said the two words, trust and credibility is what that really does. What ends up happening in the feedback that I get directly from clients and people that we end up interviewing, or I do a hot box interview, or we feature or review, basically what happens is, they don't come to me and go, oh my God, you guys made us $1 million off of that article you did. That doesn't happen. That's not how media works. What happens is that they come to me and say, I had this person call me because of your article. I had this person reach out to me because you did this interview with me. That's what happens. So you create credibility and trust because they know that wasn't paid for, and these people who are actually telling their story are doing it because they think they're a good person doing good things, they're doing something special and different, and we want to educate the reader on what it is that they're doing. So credibility and trust is really what that type of media, earned media, really does.
It's really unparalleled. You think about our parents, our ancestors, the relationships they developed with, the nightly news, the anchor, the Tom Brokaw, whoever, Edward Murrow, whoever it might have been. It's really compelling. But other panelists, I'd love to hear some of your stories too about what you've heard from sources after the fact, after the piece publishers are run.
Well, I'll go, because I spent the whole day working from rooms to rooms, trying to decide topics, trying to be at the same time in most places. So what I noticed is a lot of people who really shorten the learning curve when they assist to events like this that are organized by media organizations like ours. So it's really an investment and a very quick ROI. It's very quick satisfaction. We're at times of instant satisfaction, right? Everybody wants to scroll down and get the answer quick. Well, places like this really shorten your time, and probably if you're not attending to an event like this where you can find all the people that you need to talk to make your business grow, you're probably wasting your money and losing time. So it's really easy when you have a strategy, a business plan, and you want to get somewhere, to come here and feel that you're receiving what you're investing in, right? So I think that's a success story, and I can name multiple. For me, the most rewarding one, I've seen growers find financing, showing that they have a brand, that they know how to deploy this capital, that they have a customer base, and they create loyalty in their communities. Oh, well, we can go on and on. I don't want to take the whole time, but, that's my take.
Well, it's going to be huge. You're a grower, so when you're interviewing other growers, highlighting them and showing their sophistication, then you might hear after the fact, wow, we ended up finishing that capital round.
Oh, yeah. I didn't stress that, but yeah, the story was that, they got it within a day, or at least they secured 2 or 3 meetings to put to know more about the cost and stuff like that. But, it's not a silver bullet. It's not the answer to all problems, but it helps a lot. There's a lot of things that help, like financial education that we can also provide. But yeah, I think that those are very tangible success stories.
There's a reason why there's a press page, if not multiple, in every investor deck out there. So, Brittany, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that and say, when I was writing for Forbes and Motley Fool, one of the things we had to be very careful of was to not move markets. Because a one well-placed story in a publication like that can move markets. So I've written about things organically, and I've had people come back to me and say, I've gotten calls from investors because of what you wrote. So, media, I think, is a very powerful tool, but it needs to be used ethically.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. For us, earned media to me is about recognizing, right? Are you putting out something that's altruistic? Are you trying to help a cause? Did you just find a story that resonates with you as a patient? And for us, for Beer Bros, it's a fine line to walk, because when we put something out, it's perceived as our stamp of approval, because we're not just an ABC. There's actually a face associated with it. So that helps you guide how you're going to do that. It might not be the quickest route to what you're trying to do, but it's the most authentic way.
And what's unique about this panel is that we all have our own distinctive voice and fan base and followers based on our cultural take on the industry.
And the vast variety of the types of outlets, like Rachelle, you mentioned at the top, GreenState is primarily for consumers, and God, that's so valuable. How else are cannabis brands really connecting with consumers right now?
Yeah, and actually, that's to me the most rewarding thing is when someone found the information that I wrote. One of my first stories for Cannabis Now was about cannabis and autism, and a woman actually sent me a DM and she said, I was Googling what cannabis could do. My son is autistic, and I found your article, and we've been giving him CBD oil, and it's working. And, that's the whole reason why I started doing what I'm doing, is to get this information out there. And so more impactful even than the source in that article was the fact that, somebody found that and it worked for their family. That's huge.
That's the most satisfying thing when it comes to media, being able to do that. I've had that same kind of conversations many times, but the one that stuck out was I had, I guess it was a professor somewhere in Canada, loved we put out a Kids in Cannabis edition late last year, and she uses that edition to help teach her class. I was like, holy shit, that's really cool. So,
amazing.
With our combination of being product-based and media-based, we've had people tell us, you saved my life or my family member's life, which is, you can't put a price on that.
Huge. And then we add on that, policymakers read media.
Yes, that's good.
They pay attention to what their constituencies say, and we can target that message and, talk to particular audiences, tune it with what's going on in Oregon, what's going on in Texas, what's the debate here and there. And people who make those decisions still get their paper, in quicker at the door, and still read and take the time to read and read. I pay a lot of attention, and that's important.
Leadership and connection. Again, that's what we're returning to here. Brief story, we had a client a couple of years ago. He was an operator in Colorado. He wanted to connect with one of our complicated senators. He wrote an open letter. We helped him write it. We ended up placing it in the Hill. Next thing you know, he had a meeting with that senator, and to this day has a very close relationship with him. So, but let's talk about how you secure media. We're going to take this real quick, but of course, we recognize that's a big part of the reason some of us are here, right? So, we're talking about how media benefits consumer brands, B2B businesses, and executive thought leadership. So can each of you maybe share briefly, how do you like to be pitched? Sara, Brittany, do you mind getting us started?
I love Ricardo, but I have not been kind to his employees over the years.
ditto.
Well, hopefully you're kind, but of course we don't expect you to write about everything.
So, a lot of us get buried under the evil ends. We get so many pitches. And for me, the simplest thing is just put pitch in your subject. Because if I don't know you and I haven't interacted with you, now I immediately know that you're pitching me. Because if I assume that all of my inbox is pitches, I'm not going to look at the whole time.
That's I never thought about that. Holy crap. I just learned something really valuable about my business. Yeah, that's awesome. Sorry.
I would say the same thing with us. We get a lot of pitches. I think it all depends on who reads what the communication to you, right? Does it resonate with you? Is it something that your readers would be interested in? Does it further cannabis? Does it help cannabis? And so I can take all these things into effect. A lot of times there's things that are kind of salesy, but they're cool. And so we will go ahead and put that type of thing out on the website because it does provide valuable information. And if they're answering a question that people might have, it's also valuable to the people reading. So we analyze it on each individual one as they come in.
Same. I look at each individual pitch that comes my way. Hopefully I just get the go. If it's cool, let me send it over to Jessica, who is my editor-in-chief. What I really like is to see someone who you can tell who cares and wants to bring their whole selves to this situation and tell a real story, and they're not need to sell me something. That's, you know, bring your personality and what it is that you really want to educate us on or educate the reader on or talk about, and don't make it salesy. Be cool.
Yeah, be cool. Be kind. And keep it short and simple, right? Like, to everyone else's point, we are inundated with emails and calls and LinkedIn requests, and so keep it short, keep it simple. Understand our audiences. Understand how this story will benefit our audience, our reader. The story has to resonate with our audience, or we can't run it, right? Because otherwise it's just fluff, and we don't want to do that. And I will say something we cannot do. Do not send me an email and then immediately call me and text me, please. Like, I swear, like, I will try to get back to you if I can, but don't blow me up. Like, I have a life. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. We're this is let's see how I put this. So we are chasing attention, people's attention, and we have a certain amount of hours in the day at IgniteIt News. And our focus, or at least what I'm trying to bring, is solutions, solving stories, things that help other people make business. Either it's a machine with a better ROI, or is it an ESOP, a way to go out of the markets and get better ways of finding financing with less debt or less equity involved, But it's basically about solving problems, and that's the value that we deliver to the people that come to IgniteIt News. So at least we try to do that is to make their lives easier.
Can I add one thing, and Rachelle and I kind of talk about this a little bit when we're on panels together. If you send us a pitch and we don't enjoy it, or we don't run it, or whatever, we're not trying to be mean or rude or whatever. It's just kind of, it may not work for us. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't try again. We're not telling you that you suck. We're not being, we just want you to know that because we are so slammed with so much stuff, we can't publish everything. Please try again. Like, we want to publish. Please, come back to us.
Also, like, to Justin's point, I forgot to mention, like, a lot of times if I don't have time to respond to a pitch, that doesn't mean I'm not going to respond to it later. I might think about what it said. Oh, someone from Australia pitched me CBD for cats. Okay, I don't need that right now. But maybe on Saturday I do, so then I go back into that folder I found that pitch.
I was just going to say, it's there's always a right time, but it's not always every time.
Just going back to the honesty point, like, we all know when you're pushing and launching, like, these new brands just pull these caps, and there's a study of, like, with a study base of, like, at the end is like 25, the population you study for. So we all know when you're stretching it out. I don't take particularly any launching of anything, and even if you try to make it look like, oh, he's solving a gap in the consumer base or anything, it won't fly.
Also, don't be scared. Like, come and please come try them out with us. We would love to publish. Don't be scared to try.
Well, that's some really great advice there. We will have time for questions. What is it? Quick, Brett.
I mean, he's not wrong, right? Because it's like, I get a lot of pitches that have nothing to do with anything that I like or that I cover, right? And so yeah, you do need to see us, right?
And I think you said this from the realm of know the target audience of the publication. That's huge. Very different target audiences between IgniteIt and GreenState. Know the difference and pitch them different angles. So, thank you, Brad. Excellent.
Yeah, I think it helps if you just know a little bit about the body of work of the person you're pitching, because then you know if it even resonates. So it's saving time as well.
My question would be, if you don't know what we do, how do you know you want to be with us?
Yeah. No doubt. And I get this a lot. Would you all like to publish things about this particular subject? If you've read anything that we've been doing over the past 4.5 years, we've launched a lot of stuff here. So you want to know. You don't want to look like an idiot when you're pitching, for sure.
Good stuff. Okay, moving it along. Media is, of course, driving leadership. We know this to be true. It's setting a group of executives apart from a different group of executives because they're being interviewed on Cultivated or they're being quoted in IgniteIt. whereas this other group is writing an op-ed in GreenState, which, Rachelle, are you still looking for great op-eds right now?
Absolutely, I absolutely am. Yes, we're looking for op-eds and guest posts all the time. Please don't be shy.
It's an amazing channel to get a bold and original perspective out into the mix. But share a brief story. Years ago, I had a column run in MG Magazine. I was in LA visiting a client, and I was very surprised to get a call from a strange number. And next thing you know, somebody had read my column. I was in their office the next day. We are currently working on our 4th engagement with this really tremendous client. So this does absolutely happen. That said, we can thank media organizations for some of the necessary events and trade shows in our space. Of course, here we are at one. Thank you, Nico and team. What a great conference already. So let's talk about that. And here's a question for the panel. How does your work in media drive connection amongst the industry, whether that's through editorial or events? Nico, Bill, either one of you. Nico, you're the hometown hero. Why don't you get us started?
Sure. I think that starts with the discussions with the team that go around throughout the year. It takes a lot of time to define which panels are we going to assemble and who's going to be in it. And so what we try is to bring different experience that changes with the context, with the time, with the people that we have available, the place in the U.S. So everything has to match to deliver the people that are consistent, but also interesting and renewed perspective on the issues that we're confronting. So from a variety of options comes an avenue on a great benefit of coming here and having the possibility to touch on different people at the same time in 2 days, or at least establish the link to continue the conversation, right? There's also a thing regarding the information share. There are many outlets here. It's really hard to show what's going on in street stories with different podcast setup, interview lounges, VIP session, launches. So there's a lot going on at the same time. So that's also something that brings communication. And I mean, sharing information is like the base for many economic theories, right? The economy works when you share information, when people are free to go and move and bring a solution to someone else. So that happens here. And it's a very curated event for situations like it, for people who are looking for this, to push their business forward. You're not going to be losing time. So those are some of the factors. I can go on and on, but I don't want to take more time.
No, I hope all of you have found connection here at IgniteIt's Cannabis Capital Conference. Bill, I know you guys threw a hell of a party last night.
Well, and IgniteIt. We have partners with it, IgniteIt. And so now we have 2 medias working together for a shared cause, which is super cool, which is awareness and education. I think the reason you see so many events associated with media and media associated with events is we're looking for the same people, right? There's patients, there's consumers, and there's businesses. And media does the thing. We connect with all of those things, and so do events. So I think it's just a natural thing for media to be involved with events where we're looking for the same people and looking to educate the same people.
Cannabis is community. Remember that. Be active in your events, in your local states, travel, go meet people. Cannabis has always been about community first, right? Community, people, that kind of stuff. Being a part of events is important in this space. It's that simple.
Yeah, I thank you, because I wanted to add something to that. I spent the 2 days hearing about loyalty and repurchase and people coming back and retention. But right now in Germany, there's something really interesting going on. I agree with you guys. It's very interesting to look at what's going on over there and what models can emerge there in terms of retail cannabis. And I think there's a greater, let's say, component of community in that offer over there, same as in Barcelona, same as Latin America. And it's basic bodega retail 101 kind of like understanding with the people that surround your store. If you keep competing for prices, you know, the race to bottom is going to kill everyone. But as you start differentiating your product, tailoring to the people, to your community, and building those links, we can help, and we're glad to do that. I mean, it's what we like, because, as you said, cannabis is community.
Sometimes it's hyper-local community.
Definitely. Leadership and community. We're going to close with this question, because this is also a two-way street, right? We benefit massively from appearing on the pages, being discussed on these podcasts, and so we also have to give back to make sure that's around us. couple of years ago, I was moderating a panel at South by Southwest. Deborah Borchardt, I'm sure many of you know, she stood up and said, hey, why do none of the brands on this stage right now not advertise in my publication, in Green Market Report? And granted, she could have been a little bit more tactful, a little bit different about that, but she made a point. We do need to support cannabis media, and support means a number of things. So, Rachelle, why don't you, I know you and I are very passionate about the subject matter, why don't you share how you love seeing people support your work, GreenState's work?
I mean, first of all, like, share, subscribe. I mean, come on, guys. Like, it's, yeah, and it doesn't cost a thing. Like, you know, I mean, some people exist under paywalls for sure, but I don't think any of us do, right? And so, like, you know, engage with the content, visit the content, read the story, stay on the page, because guess what? Those are our KPIs. That's how we stay in business, and unfortunately, the algorithm has destroyed this business in so many ways. You know, like, traffic is down to our site immensely because of AI, right? Because Google is not serving GreenState to the people. It's serving its, you know, own answer. And so we need you to come to our website. If we write a story about you, put it on your website. You know, give us a backlink, you know, give a little snippet, shout it out. You should be proud anyways, right? And then if you can swing it, consider an ad, consider an advertorial, right? Advertorials are a great way to get your foot in the door. I used to write them for MG quite a bit. There are people that I wrote advertorials about that I still feature now in organic earned media because I remember them from back in the day.
That's powerful. For the rest of the panel, please share about how you enjoy seeing people supporting the work that you do.
Well, I think you should support those that support you, right? We're in cannabis. We have cannabis media. Before you pick some mainstream non-cannabis media, you should look at all the cannabis media first. Spend money. If you're going to spend money, spend it within the community. Going back to the community part.
Think about this. You want earned media. You have to help make sure that earned media is available to you, which means you have to support the outlets that you want to be seen in. It's not a difficult thing to think about. So if you want us to do interviews, you want to be featured, you want us to talk about your products and review them, our platform has to exist, which means we need advertising dollars. It's not a hard thing. Not everybody has that money to spend, but without at least realizing that we need those dollars here instead of you spending them in mainstream media, billionaire-owned media, you need to come here and sort of help us tell your story at times.
And also, like, if you care about the narrative around cannabis, you need to support people who are writing about it, who are, you know, from the culture and from the community too.
Yeah, we're connected to it.
Per my story earlier, South by Southwest, Deborah Borchardt, Green Market Report no longer exists. That's a tremendous loss.
He was on our panel last year.
There you go.
Was he the moderator with us?
Yeah. Nico, please, and Sara, Brittany, would love to hear from each of you before we wrap.
Sara?
I just think what everyone else said is totally accurate. People are complaining that, you know, cannabis media isn't as abundant as it once was, but then they're not supporting it either. So cannabis media is thinking, I mean, Civilized, so many good publications just not supported.
I just want to wrap up with the spirit of this conference, which is we're partners. Come to us. We'll go to you, and we'll make the best out of the situation together. Because everything what my colleague said about the SEO being a bit of flavor of SEO and traffic and AI and a few things on that. AI rewards good content. AI knows when you did something with ChatGPT or Cloud or whatever, and it's going to send you to the bottom of the list if you don't have original content. So it's something that, there's a moral thing on it, there's an ethic thing to it, and there's also a rational business behind it, and that is that we are in this together. AI is affecting the work we do, but it's also affecting your consumer base and your customers. So you want to get someone along to you that understands your business, that knows what's the difference between a medical user, a rec user in Alaska, in San Francisco, then we're more than welcome to help you.
And look, this isn't charity. We do good work. Everybody up here on this panel they're amazing writers and own amazing media companies. We're not here, begging for your money. We're doing our job to earn it, hopefully, we're doing a good enough job to earn it, I guess.
Thank you guys so much. I mean, honestly, I was a professional journalist for 24 years. I know what they put into this every day. It is very much deserving of our time, our tags, and please join me in giving this amazing panel a rousing round of applause. Thank you.